Hey, gang, today we're going to be talking about the economic collapse news from the collapse of the dollar, aka petrodollar, to gold, Bitcoin, and why there's going to be 401 massacres going on. And it doesn't really take a genius to figure this out when it comes to what's going on in our economy. Now, if you ask many people, like Ron Paul did a poll, most people don't even know where the money, how the money works, how the money is printed, what's the underlying value of money. Um, and that's what the problem is, because education is indoctrination, and it happens right in school. Because when I went to school, high school, college, it was all about getting a degree and working for the man. It was hardly about me being the man. Okay. It was hardly about how our monetary system worked. It was hardly about, you know, teaching me how to negotiate and read contracts. Like, for example, every single one of you guys and ladies get into a contract with your insurance company, if it's auto insurance, if it's healthcare insurance, whatever. And many people don't even know how to read the contract. What does it mean? Because it's so hard. So the school does not allow us to become the man. They want us to work for the man, which ties into ignorance. Why do I say ignorance? Is because most people don't even realize how the money system works. That there's a central banker, they're just printing money, just going, and they're printing, and everyone else is trading their life energy, their life. Instead of hanging out with their kids, instead of going doing fun stuff, they have to have a job. Okay. And the craziest thing is the greed of the corporations, capitalism in America, which is so crazy, is that the corporations are want to make so much profit margin that they are now outsourcing the work in third world countries like Mexico, China, and that's why we have China becoming a world power, is because in America, and I dare you right now, if you go into your refrigerator, if you go into your closet, if you look at your computer, if you look at your AirPods, your shoes, none of it's made in America. Not even 1%, unfortunately. Okay. Now, my shoes, right, or Ken's, I'm not promoting it, are made in America because I believe in buying stuff made in America. Now, I don't need Big Brother to tell me. I just like it, right? Because I support our country. But majority of people, if you look in their closet, look in the refrigerator, whatever, everything's made from something else. Like this gold is made in Italy, this bracelet is made in Italy. Everything I have, the shirts, the cups, whatever, right? They're all made in different countries. Even your food, if your cheese is made from France, your bread is made somewhere else, your rice is coming from India, etc. And so corporations are getting so greedy that they're outsourcing all the work to third world countries, not really understanding that it's the people in America that are growing the economy, because if they don't consume, then they cannot grow. Now, we're in a situation today where you have to have a college degree, the mom and dad have to work, okay, just to make ends meet. That doesn't look like a very powerful, the middle class is being very powerful, because there was a time in America where we could, husband would work, mom would stay home with their kids, like the way I have my family, right? Um, you know, and husband works, mom stays home. But today, husband works, mom works, right? Both got college degrees, and both still cannot pay for bills to end, and they have to get into credit card debt. Now, think about it. Interest rates are historically as low as they have been in the history of America. Let me say that again. In the history of America, interest rates have never been this low. Please check fact this. There was one time in America where interest rates on a 30-year mortgage were like 18%. Today we're almost zero, right? And we're having people in government like Trump wanting and patting on the back of countries that have negative interest rate. Negative interest rate. What that means is that if you put money into a bank, right, in a savings, instead of the bank paying you interest like the way you used to be in America, right? Because if you had $1 million in a bank, you could get paid and live off the dividends of the interest. Today, you can't do that. With negative interest rate, if you put $1 million in the bank, now you got to pay the bank your monthly bank fees and all the other stuff they charge you. But now you got to pay them more money out of your own savings or checkings to just for them to safeguard your money. That's what it means to have negative interest rate. It's a suicide for savers. All right. And I did a video about this 2017. I said it's suicide to save money in the economy. This is not financial advice, but on my channel, for my own personal self, is suicide. And guess what? As interest rates goes towards zero and negative, this is the same thing that happens in Venezuela right now. People do not want to hold their money because they know that it's losing value. So as soon as they get it, they got to buy some food or buy some rice. Okay, that's what negative interest rate does. Is that in 0% interest rate is a cycle of quickly spending your money before it loses purchasing power, called inflation. And this is all pre-programmed into the cake for this to happen. Um, and if you listen to the IMF, if you listen to the Fed, they tell you straight up they want the inflation to happen. Like the IMF leader said something. Just summarizing it. She said that you know she rather have people working, being a slave. Like she said, she'd rather have people working versus them worrying about having a savings, right? So what does that mean? That means that the rulers of men want everyone to work versus them having a savings so they could come up out of the class, because you want to go to the next class and the next class. If you come to America as rags, you want to get to riches, right? That's what made America great. That's why millions of people want to emigrate here. That's because that's one of the powerful things about America, or used to be, right? I mean, you still can make moves, but the closer you are to the printing machine or the Fed, the easier it is to get go. So going back to the story, the corporations are outsourcing all the work to other third world countries. The people are not having enough money from their salaries to consume more and more. And there's also an inflation which makes consumers, not only do they have to consume more, but there's not enough money to pay for what they consume, so they got to put it on credit cards. Okay, which again, the elites win, because I don't know any small business owner that one day they say, you know what, I'm going to start a credit card company. It's only the elites. It's only the people with the power, 1%ers that have, too big to fail, are the ones that have a credit card company business, right? And even though interest rates at an all-time zero, credit cards at all-time high. So the people that cannot really afford it, they're the ones that are getting taxed the most. Okay. And the whole system is to cipher, like you're siphoning gas from a car, or take out the wealth of the people and push it upstream. Okay. And the same people that are getting the money, they want to get more money and more control, and therefore they're risking the people's money in the banks to do what? To do derivatives. People don't understand what those are, which is totally normal. Even if you had a PhD, you couldn't understand it, because people on Wall Street, they're very clever on how they structure things and how they word things to fool us. Okay. What are derivatives? Well, derivatives are things that we don't see because they're underneath the table, right? Because it's not regulated. Some of it may be, but a lot of it is not even regulated or even reported. Okay, um, and some people call that shadow banking. But simply put, mortgage-backed securities was a one type of derivatives. Bitcoin futures is a type of derivatives. There's all kinds of derivatives for futures, like corn, oil, etc. Okay, so if you add up all the derivatives from all the companies and the banks, it overcomes all the countries in the world economy. Okay, it overcomes all the richest corporations like Microsoft, Google, all these people. If you add all their money up, the world economy, all the gold and silver in the world, all the cryptocurrencies in the world, it'll only be this big, right? And the world, um, one second, okay, and the world derivatives are 100, if not 1,000 times more, and that's what you know The smartest families in America are now sitting on cash, and I bring it to you guys in my private forum where Warren Buffett and other people are the richest people. They're liquidating, they're selling their stocks, they're liquidating their assets, they're liquidating, having cash reserves because they know what's about to come. What's about to come? Good question. What is about to come? This is my opinion, not financial advice, but what I see is the same thing that the people with the money see is you need to have cash so you can buy assets at 50 cents, 60 cents, 40 cents, 30 cents on the dollar because there's going to be a tsunami of motivated sellers out there. It doesn't matter if the sellers are motivated because they didn't do anything wrong, right? Like when their 401s evaporates, they didn't do anything wrong because when they look in their account, there's like, oh man, I have so much money. I'm ready to retire. I got 100 grand, 200 grand, a million, whatever it is. But these 401s, they're in corporations in the stock market. Like people have bought, you know, stocks like DR Hortons. I brought to you guys like DR Horton. For every $5 they make, right? Actually, no, I'm sorry. For every dollar they make, they're indebted 4.7 times that amount. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that, hey, every dollar they make, they got to go borrow $5 if I round up. Okay. Does that sound like it's smart business investing? Okay. Would I want to buy something in that? No, absolutely not. I'm not giving you guys financial advice. You can do whatever you want, but I wouldn't want to invest in a company that for every dollar it brings in, it has to get into debt 5 times that. Okay. All right. That's not a smart investment for me, but for a lot of Americans, that's the great investment because they have financial advisors and they tell them this is a good deal, right? And maybe it is a good deal for them. But when it evaporates, these type of stockholders are going to be highly motivated because a lot of their pensions are going to be, or their 401s are going to be evaporated. Okay. Yesterday's video, I talked about why corporations and the people that know how to make money, that's why they have the big companies, went away from having pensions and allowed the actual new money or dumb money, that's what they call working class people, to choose what they want to invest in. So now you have the power to invest in what you think is good, but majority of people don't have no idea and they delegate that to some schmuck clown, in my opinion, because me giving my money to a financial advisor and they're going to make all kinds of fees. Some they tell me and some they don't. Doesn't like a really smart idea for me, right? Because I rather put the education in my own brain. I rather make the mistakes myself, and I rather learn so I can make better choices. Because majority of people that I saw in 2006, 2007, 2008, they lost 40, 50, 60% of their 401s in the stock market. So what the bankers do, or which they're really good at, is illusion. When people look at their bank statement and they say, okay, my 401s is going up. Oh shit, right? Stocks are going up. My 401's going up. And they look at their home equity. Oh man, it's going up. But all suddenly evaporates and they look on there and now they can't believe it. They had 200 and now they only have 60 or 80 in their homes, and they have this much in their home equities and now it's less. So it's an illusion. And the other thing we have to realize is that the petrodollar, which makes you and me live so good in America, why America is such a great country, is because we are the world reserve currency. Let me say that again. That's why in the last crash, America didn't get beat up. But if you looked at Europe, well, a lot of countries in Europe got smoked, right, because of the crash, right? Um, which, see, when these other third world countries or even not emerging countries, just like people in Sweden, there's so many different countries in Europe, once they got stuck, well, guess what? Do you think they want to get tricked again in the next crash? And that's why I think that the dollar is going to collapse, or what I call the reserve currency, the petrodollar, is going to collapse because right now, what makes us be so rich? Like everyone that's watching, okay, everyone, hopefully not, that's why you're watching this channel, But majority of people don't have their cars is not paid for, their student school is not paid for, their furniture is not paid for, their house is not paid for, even their clothes on their bag, they put it on their credit card, and but they have everything, right? We have everything, and that's what America is about. That's why GMC has all these stores and locations, and they're stopped making cars because they don't have good products, right? So you can have growth and you can have possession of material things, right? But majority of people didn't work for that, right? Right. And they just borrowed it. And so therefore we have a life of luxury. You go down the street and you see houses worth 300, 400, 500, and a lot of people live in these homes, right? But if you go to, let's say, another country, let's go to Africa, you go to the Middle East, then people are now living like that. And they're living on $8 a day or $2 a day, right? What is going on, right? What's going on is that because of us being the reserve currency, the petrodollar, every country in the world has to use fossil fuel because that's the main way for us to move our cars or move our trains or move our airplanes or whatever. And every country that wants to buy oil from OPEC, Saudi Arabia is the chief of the OPEC, right? They have to pay in dollars to be able to get the fuel. So if you're a Turkey, you want to buy oil from the Saudis or the OPEC, you got to pay in dollars. If you're China, you got to pay in dollars. If you're Russia, you got to pay in dollars. It doesn't matter who you are, right? You got to pay in dollars, and that's why it makes us the world reserve currency. Now, that's great for us, right? For me and you and everyone else. That's why we have so much buildings and so much wealth, but it's not really ours. The bankers own it. We're making payments on it, of course. Um, but we still get to own all these material things. But very, very soon, because a dollar is being weaponized, because of the dollar through sanctions and like I said, weaponizations, because of other countries taking the hits from our mal practice, like you could say, from all the wars, all the inflation, us stealing the natural resources from all these countries because we have to. We're dependent on this oil, or we won't be kings anymore. Once more and more countries get burned by that, then the dollar, they may create a new system, and a lot of countries have already created new systems, right? Digitalized, like many countries have created digital coins, or they're trying to create stable coins, right? Um, and there's other systems out there, like I brought to you guys. Europe has created a system with Iran. I forgot the name of it, Instix or something like that. I forgot the name of it. But anyways, and there's also Bitcoin. But as more channels of commerce can open up, then more and more countries will say, you know what, I'm not going to back this dollar because anytime they don't like me, they're going to seize my assets. Anytime they don't like me, they're gonna sanction me. They're gonna do all this stuff for me. And we're basically bullying around all these countries, right? All over the world, or we're in like over 180 countries. We have bases there. In the last 10 years or 20 years, we've been in so many different wars. And all that is because of, you know, us being the world reserve currency. We wouldn't be able to get into debt and debt and debt if we wanted to reserve currency. And here's the thing. For example, in the last crash, China, or China, the bad guys, the boogie guys now. Now that I never even been to China, but I don't believe the politicians, the bad guys now. Well, they're the ones that bailed us out. They're the ones that bought our debt, America's debt, right? But now we made them into bad guys, right? And so when this collapse happens, what do you think the countries that own a bunch of dollars? Because, like I said, America is the reserve currency. If you want to buy fuel for your country, you're going to need dollars. And a lot of central banks all over the world are hoarding dollars. They have dollars in their banks because that's the world reserve currency. Well, if more and more bankers and countries, lose faith in us, and what do you think they're going to do? What do you think? Anytime China could just dump its dollars on the market. So, as more and more countries figure out different ways to transact, it eliminates the dollar. And as more and more, you know, weaponization of the dollar we make, more and more sanctions we do, and as our government spends more and more than it has because we're fighting everyone and their mama and dropping the mother of all bombs on people, and as as our country gets in more and more debt, the people getting more and more debt, and one day people are going to realize, hey man, we can just use this other source of money, whatever it is, if it's bitcoins, if it's Chinese yang, gold, whatever it is, then that's the day that the lifestyle in America is going to be so different. We're going to be living life like, like the way it should be. You shouldn't be able to be a debtpreneur and have success. That's not the way it is, man. This is totally against law and nature. You can't be a debtpreneur and borrow, 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 and grow, grow, grow fakely. That doesn't make any sense, right? We lost, like, for example, back in the days in World War II, we were a powerhouse of manufacturing, guys. We manufactured everything, right? And it was good shit too, right? That's why we became world power. Today, we don't manufacture anything. We've outsourced it to India. We outsourced it to Pakistan. We outsourced it to Mexico. We outsourced it a lot of it to China. And then they done a great job to bring us $5 products, really cheap, so we can go to Walmart and get it real cheap. Why do we need it so cheap? Well, inflation. They're printing the money out. Well, wages hasn't gone up. Well, assets have gone up because of inflation. When the Fed prints money, it makes things easier to buy for people closest to the printing press. Right? That's why stocks going up. That's why the price of cars going up and up, because it's really easy to get a car today. You can just do a 8-year loan. 8-year loan, you can get a car. Okay, so therefore more idiots can go get loans that they can't on cars that they can't afford, but they can afford $200 a month versus $600 a month if they got it 3 years. Which What does it do with the prices of cars? There's more buyers, the price goes up. Same thing with real estate. There's a bunch of fucking idiots who are willing to just buy properties that just like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, the prices doubled. Like if you're in Colorado, prices of homes have doubled in 10 years. You had a $200,000 home, now it's 400. You had a million, now it's 2 million. I mean, and not majority of the homes out there. So when we're in a situation when assets are just going up and up because there's so many easy money, cheesy money, incomes are not keeping up with inflation. Well, it creates a lot of tension. The simplest I could put, from the people and for other countries and bankers are holding our money, and that's why I think that the dollar may collapse, and we will not be the world reserve currency. Doesn't mean that we're not going to have digital dollars like the Fed is trying to create their own crypto coins, right? But the belief system of the whole world to be able to take our world money as the number one is going to be, I think, in my opinion, financial advice is going to be extinct very, very soon, because we're not being a role model. We're not being leaders by, you know, spreading love and democracy as we claim. What we do is we bomb the shit out of people. We take people's oil. I mean, you heard Trump saying that, hey, we need, uh, forgot the name of the country, Syria's oil. It's our oil, and so we're at the level that, and I respect Trump because he's no fluff. He's just like me, tells it straight it is. And that's awesome that he tells it to you straight it is, because we need to know that we're bullies. We're big bullies. And you know what happens to bullies? Eventually, enough people and then beat the shit out of the bully. And I don't want that, right? Because America is a great country. And that's what I do. What I do is because the more you consume, you're helping the bankers indebt you, make you work more, not spend time with your kids, right? For some material things that it depreciates. You buy a Mercedes, it's boom. You buy a Bentley, boom. Most things will depreciate. And the other things that are going up in assets like real estate property, they're not going up because of natural way. They're going up because they're injecting them with a bunch of hormones and it's growing, right? If you understand the human body, right, there's something called homostasis, right? And if you want to look at the temperature of the human body, there's this little medium part called homostasis where the body tries to be. If you go any further up in temperature, if you go like 101, 102, 103, then you have a fever. Then your body can die, right? We can call that inflation. Now, or you can go that your body temperature can go down where it goes below 96 and goes 95. And then again, your body will die because there's enzymes, there's gateways, there's cells valves are not going to open if your body temperature is above that homeostasis level. But there's a range that you can stay in. And that's what's going on with our economy, right? We have so much debt that we're pushing the range of us being the world leader, of us having the world reserve currency by impoverishing the middle class, by impoverishing the working class, by them working more, like the IMF lady said. They're not worried about your savings. They're just worried about you having a job. What they're basically saying is, we want you to be a plantation slave and we want you to work. We don't care that you're trying to come up and crawl up to go to a different economic class. Like, if you're middle class, you're trying to go to the middle class and so on. They don't care about that. What they care about is, enslaving. And they're just telling you straight up. Now, we're living in the era where the politicians will tell you straight up, but most people are now listening to that, right? So I don't want this to happen, but I think in the very, very future, it's not financial advice, that the reserve currency, the petrodollar, is going to crumble, and we're not going to be the reserve currency unless we pull out of all these countries, unless we fix what's the problem that we have in America, guys. Where people with college degrees have to have two jobs, where mom has to work, dad has to work, right? Central bankers, the Fed, where we're thinking that the price of things should just go up and up and up and up and up. And it's totally normal that we have 2% inflation. That's what they claim. And it's totally cool, right? Which, for example, there's other currencies out there like Bitcoin, which is not inflation, doesn't go up like, inflation, right? Um, Sorry, guys. I freestyle everything. Sometimes I make mistakes. Now, if you have any questions, guys, leave a comment. Um, let's get to some of these questions. What's up, Dean? Good to see you. Negative interest rate, bad idea. Yes, but when tomorrow or in 40 years? I'm in Colorado. What's going on, man? In Colorado, guys. Negative interest rate is what happens in Venezuela. That's what happens in Zimbabwe. Okay, when people don't want to hold the dollar or their money up in their country anymore because they know that the value is going less and less, then as soon as they get their money, they're gonna just quickly buy something like groceries or gas or something because they know those something they're gonna buy. A, they're gonna feed themselves, or B, it may go up in value because the dollar or their currency, if it's in Venezuela, it won't be the dollar. It's not is losing value. And that's what negative interest rate means, is that if you have money in the savings, let's say you have $100, you're losing, let's say 2% negative interest rate. The first year you'll lose $2. So you have $98. Next year you'll have $96 and so on. So in 5 years, your $100 will be way less because you're paying them to hold your money. Okay. And when people get their paycheck, they're not going to put it into their savings, or what they want to do is quickly spend their money. And that's what happens in Venezuela, because as soon as people get their money, they want to spend it because that money is losing value. And one thing about the US dollar that no one even talks about, not your economic major, not your professors, any of this stuff, is that, guys and gals, the dollar has lost 95% of its value in 100 years. 95%, dude. I mean, holy moly, dude. That's a lot of money, right? That's why you could buy a car in the 70s for $5,000, $7,000. Today, that same car will cost you like $30,000 to $50,000, okay? Which is crazy, right? And so imagine if we lived in a world where the price of things didn't keep going up. Imagine if we lived in a world where we are living now, that as more technology improved, that means manufacturing will be more efficient. As more manufacturing is more efficient, then logically the cost of goods should come less and less and less, not more and more and more. And so by us living in an printed money, Fed central bankers free money, funny money, instead of our technology making life for you and me more easier, the cost of good goes up and up. Now, yes, technology has made life easier for us, but the cost of goods should not be going up and up and up. Actually, the more efficient we are in production, farming, the cost should be coming down than down. Okay. And eventually, me and you and our kids should not ever have to work because we have technology doing everything for us. Because the purpose of life is not to have a job and work for the fucking man. That's what school wants us to do, right? That's what the whole system is, to work for the man. But in reality, as humanity evolves and we're able to create, right, from our imagination, not from a banker, not from a loan, not our FICO score, but through our creativity, dude, right? As we create stuff, our technology evolves, and then we're able to do what? Not work. You don't have to go to work anymore. Your wife don't have to go to work anymore because you have machines or you have systems or whatever. They're doing the work for you. You have software doing it for you, right? I mean, that's what, like, for example, Bitcoin does. It eliminates all those bankers, right? Instead of having them having locations, retail stores where they're opening banking accounts, you can just create a wallet, download it, go to bitcoin.com, download it, dude. You can just download a wallet. There's no information, and you can put money in there. People can send you money. It's pretty awesome, right? Where banks now like that. And the whole aspect of Bitcoin is eliminating jobs. And as technology improves, we want to eliminate jobs because eventually we want to be in a situation where we don't have to work. We don't want to work. Who wants to go to work? Most people hate their jobs. Who wants to go study for 10 years with some stupid job, to do, like a doctor, like, again, people think doctors make a lot of money, and they do, but they're indebted a whole lot, but they got to work a whole lot. People think attorneys make a lot of money, and they do, but they got to work 90-hour weeks, right? Same thing with doctors. They're working, like, I know doctors working 36 hours straight. They don't even go to bed, dude, for 2 days straight. They're like just working. I mean, you're working, dude, just like crazy. How can you do that? Right? How healthy is that for your body as a doctor to be up 48 hours or 36 hours? I mean, come on. That's not healthy for a doctor. And have you ever thought about it that if you're like in the hospital, that the doctor that comes visits you, they've been up for 2 days. Do you think their brain's working a lot? I mean, if you were up for 2 days, how efficient would you be? Would you have a lot of energy and passion? No, dude, you would not have that. And so that's what the problem is, that we're we're trained to work for the man. We're trained to not ask a lot of questions. We're trained to follow orders and buy stuff that we don't really need and get into debt, because the more they get us into debt, the more rats we'll become. And that's what I've realized over, you know, being an entrepreneur since high school, is that at one time I bought in the hype of buying and buying and buying and success and success. I had one business and had two businesses, then three businesses, then two locations, then three locations, then rentals. And it was always go, 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 consumption, a cancer of consumption, right? Now, I didn't consume a lot of stuff because I knew the difference between bad stuff and good stuff, if you could call it bad stuff or good stuff. I was growing and having more stuff in a sense of success. I have more businesses, more rentals, right? Where some people may consume sugar or TV, I was being active to improve myself, where in reality, right, I had a cancer consumption. Even if I got to the top of the hill, which I did, I thought there's more. I got to the next hill, I want more, and I got the next hill, and I want more. And then I realized that, hey, this is the reason why I don't have happiness, is because I've cancer consumption, right? I've been trained to think that I have a lack, I have a deficiency. Doesn't matter if I. That's why UPC, like, a champ. They win the title to become, the champ of baseball, the champ of whatever. Somehow they want to get the next one. The next one is never ending, right? It's a never ending thing. And I think we're conditioned to that, because they want us to be robots working for the man versus us working for ourselves. Because if we work for ourselves, we realize that, hey, uh, I don't want to deal with shitty customers. Like, I don't want to deal with shitty customers. Like, there's people that come join my profit sharing. I see their application, I'm like, no, thank you, dude. I don't want to deal with your shit, dude. Like, why should I take your money? Your money, I don't care, right? You're a pain in the ass. I don't want to deal with that. Well, if I had a job, I couldn't do that, right? I have to kiss their ass, right? Um, or I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna do that, right? I want to do this, then I do that. If I don't want to get up, I mean, I haven't gotten up on an alarm clock since when I was in high school, because I promised myself I would never ever get up on an alarm clock ever again. And guys, I just sleep whenever I wake up, is whenever I wake up, right? If I got something to do, I can program myself to wake up early. If I don't, I can sleep in. It doesn't matter. Whenever I get done. If I want to stay up late, I can. If I don't want to, I don't want to. And that's because of freedom, that you get not by school or college. That comes from being your dreams, man. Whenever you chase your dreams, you got to risk a lot of stuff, right? You got to risk it. You got to get punched in the face, and you got to get up. You got to get punched in the face. You got to get up. You got to get punched in the face. And guess what, guys? That's how America used to be here. We used to manufacture the best stuff, right? Today, we outsource it to China, and then we're mad at them. Why they do it? Why they're beating our ass with 5G? Why they make better cars? Why Apple makes all the shit over there? Why this? Why this? Right? We're mad at them. They didn't do anything. We empowered them. We took our power away, right? We decided to sit up here, put our foot up, and eat sugary stuff, eat a bunch of fatty stuff, and now we're mad at other people because they're in the gym, they're doing their shit, and they're growing, and we're hating on them, and now we're trying to, you know, cause a lot of suffering for farmers, right? Do you know that right now farmers are bankruptcy is high as hell in America? We have to bail them out. Right now, me and you are bailing these guys out. Instead of them working, we're going to bail them out. So we're in a situation where Big Brother's in debt, states are in debt, corporations are in debt, the average citizen is so much in debt, and not only in America, but in Germany, and in Canada, in London, and I mean everywhere. And everywhere these that subscribe to the same till, which is fractional reserve lending, right? All the assets in those countries are up. People can't afford to buy a house in Hong Kong, in London, in Canada because it's so expensive, right? And there's a separation of the riches and the presence, and now they're making it like that, where there's so much separation, and there may be civil unrest in America, right? I brought you guys. Some people on YouTube say this. There might be a civil war, and I see it already in other countries. So it wouldn't shock me because you go in France, Yellow Vest movement. You look in Hong Kong. You look in so many different places in America. Just looking right now, not in America, in the world, the people are revolting because they can't pay for shit, man. The cost of goods is so expensive. Just to eat is so expensive. Um, and some of it's caused by us, like Venezuela. America did that, right? But other parts are not caused by us directly. They're caused indirectly, and people are starving, right? And I think America's going to the people, the working class, going to be starving too because they're so in debt. They're so in debt. They don't have savings, and they're so dependent on a job. No one even knows how to like hustle. There was a point in America where majority of Americans were entrepreneurs. Today, majority of Americans just know how to collect a paycheck and where do I sign to get some credit? Most people don't even know what credit is. Like, yeah, man, I want some credit. I want some credit, right? But what they're really saying is, I need to get into debt. I need to get into debt because that's what credit is. Credit is debt. I don't want no credit. I don't want any debt. I don't care about a banker. What I want is to sit still and imagine something, whatever I want. And I want you to do the same thing. You just imagine what you want, and then you work for it, dude. You sacrifice. You tighten your fucking belt. You fucking turn off your TV. You turn off your cable. You get rid of Netflix, and you actually go and hustle, dude. You go grind to be your dreams. And your dreams, you're not trying to do it because you're going to get paid for it, right? Because that's the same thing as a job. That's what I learned. You know, if I'm just trying to do a business just to make money, I already done that. It didn't bring me any happiness. So don't go from a job into just starting a business just to chase money because end of the day, you're going to have everything and you're going to have nothing. Let me say that again. End of the day, you're going to have everything, but you're going to have nothing. And that's what happened to me, right? I had all these material things, millions, business made millions, had 3 different businesses, a lot of people working for me, rentals. I had all these material things, but I didn't have anything in the day, right? And so that's because I was chasing something that was programmed into me from high school and college, and like get this and more stores, more, and not really realizing. And so the point I'm trying to make is that you have the power in you, man. You can do whatever you want to do. And I highly recommend just everyone to just sit there and close their eyes and just turn the TV off and then not financial advice and just think about what do you want, right? And then go for that because that's gonna make you great. That's gonna make your neighbors great. That's gonna make America great if you be what you want to be. And yes, it's risky. Yes, you can lose money. Yes, you cannot be nothing. And that's part of life. And if you want to eliminate that, you want some kind of security handout money, then you can get on welfare or you get on credit, which is debt. Those are two things they'll give it to you just like this. Everything else you got to work for, even a treat. You plant the seeds, do a lot of working to come up. So anything else is fake, is welfare or credit, guys. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Click the like button. Let me know what state you're from. Let me leave some of these comments real quick. Um, Babylon system. I don't think the working people get bailed out like the farmers. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to pay that money back. I agree with you, man. My man Joy says California is Venezuela. People are fleeing. Man, guys, one of the things that most people don't realize, and this is a statistics that when I owned a moving company, I knew what was going on, and I didn't have to pay attention to the inflation charge. I didn't have to pay attention to so many different things because when you own a moving company, back in 2006, I could have told you that people are leaving California in rows because we would move so many people from California to Texas. Okay. I could tell you what cities in the area are having a lot of movement in it just by owning a moving company. And yes, California homelessness is crazy. The cost of good is crazy. And there's going to be a massive amount of people losing jobs, losing equity in their homes in this upcoming crash, which we're already here, guys. We're already here. And they're just not televising it, guys and gals. Not financial advice. Okay. Let's see what other questions we got. All right. My man asked about profit sharing. Thanks, guys. Hey, guys, if you're interested in flipping houses or getting into real estate, if you're new, then what I highly recommend is joining my profit sharing coaching. We meet every Saturday right from your computer, and you don't need to have a lot of money, but you will need a little money. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you all my systems so we can do deals in your backyard. Because as you know, if you've been watching my channel, in my opinion, the economy collapse is already here. 2019. It's not going to be 2020. It's already here. Just not telling people. And there's already a wave of motivated sellers out there. Okay. If you're interested in how to find these motivated sellers, how to fund the deals, how to structure the deals, how to talk to them, then profit sharing at mrnofluff.com. Click the like button, leave a comment, let me know what state you're from. I'll see you later. Peace.